It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. And now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? Showtime! Geno Jones Showtime. Yes, Thursday. It's Thursday, May 7th, 2026. All my May Tauruses, happy birthday. Stand up, Tauruses. Somebody famous. It's got a birthday today. I kind of overheard, but I didn't lock it into my brain. It'll probably come to me. I guess it's not that important. But anyway, if you are celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday. Mother's Day weekend. Yes, Mother's Day is Sunday. Don't forget your mom. I know I don't need to tell you that. And if your mom is and grandmother is an ancestor, we're going to honor them, speak to them. I'm sure for many of us, they either speak to us or their spirit is with us or inside of us every day. And we kind of channel who they are. So just big shout out to all the moms and the grandmas and the mothers to be, including my firstborn daughter, Boogie. Lauren is going to be a mom. Oh, in about, let's see, he got 31 days in May. So today's the 7th, so that's good. So that's 44 days. June 20th, that's the due date. She is going to be a mom officially of little Hendrix, spelled like Jimi Hendrix, Hendrix Blue. So big shout out to, so my oldest daughter, Allie has no children, and this is her first child. So everybody's telling me, man, boy, you can really, when you become a grandparent, it's even different than your own child. They're like, you forget about your own kids for your grandkids, which is impossible for me because I am the ultimate girl dad, and nobody loves their girls more than me. So I won't forget them. I'll make, there'll be room for little Hendrix. He'll have his own little space. But people saying, hey, you just wait till it happens. And I've had so many people tell me that. All right, coming up, my guest, he is a part of the Geno Jones Show family. He's been a guest many times. So by the way, like, share, and subscribe. Tell everybody, spread the news, spread the word. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, do it. You'll love it. And shout out to everybody that has subscribed to my channel. Keep going. We're well over 1,000 now. So now we're going for 100,000 and then we're 1 million. I'm speaking it into existence. So continue to spread the word for me. I really appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe. Leave your comments in the comments section below. However, everybody watching me live on Thursday night, the show is interactive. You see where it says live chat, you can jump into conversation. You can start a conversation. If you got a question, if you got a comment, feel like you want to come from me and my guest, good luck with that. It ain't going to end well for you, but you can give it a try anyway. Or if you want me to shout out your mom or your grandma or your mom to be, maybe your wife, your significant other, whoever, maybe your daughter's about to become a new mom or mom, whatever. Just jump in that chat room and type it in there as I just slide off camera for a little bit here because, we have to rebuke the enemy because he knows that we have definitely got some heat for his ass. He already know. As Jean Jones, my grandmother, taught me, she said, Jeannie, tell the truth, shame the devil. All right, so, big shout out to all of the class of 2026, all of the graduates. All the graduates starting with kindergartners, those graduating from elementary school, from middle school, high school, college, undergrad, your bachelor's, your Bachelor of Fine Arts, your associate's degrees, your master degrees, your masters, your PhDs. Shout out to each and every one of you. And speaking of commencement and graduations, shout out to South Carolina State University. You've been hearing me talk about them for over a week now. The current lieutenant governor, who I see I guess that little stunt worked for her. We're going to talk to my guest, Pastor Thomas Dixon, because I see now she was like third and fourth in the polls in the MAGA. There's no longer a Republican Party. There's a MAGA cult. So now she's leading the MAGA cult party here in South Carolina in the polls. So she knew what she was doing. Racism works every time, boy. That racism train is never late. If you grew up in Chicago, now they call it the Red Line. Pastor Dixon's from Chicago. We used to call it the Dan Ryan, 95th and the Dan Ryan. The A and B train, that train, sometimes that A train or that B train would be late. The old Inglewood Howard line, or you got the D train in New York. That racism train, man, that train is never late. So it worked for that heifer. So she, like I said, she's running to be governor. So she's jumped up in the polls. Basically, she just, I don't even want to say fed into, because for you to identify with not even a political party, it's a cult. It's a cult that's using politics to amass control and power and to take away rights and resources. So we're going to talk about all that. But so Lieutenant Governor Pamela Yvette, I think Yvette, I think that's it. I've heard it, Yvette. So the Lieutenant Governor, that heifer, Lieutenant Governor Yvette, or Yvette, she was disinvited, basically, because the students and people protested. She called these young people, she called them a mob, a woke mob, and said that if she's elected governor, that she was going to get rid of, she's going to be, and I'm quoting, she'll be ending radical DEI policies. So she called these young people, these students, these brilliant students in South Carolina, she called them a mob. But the insurrectionists, the thugs, the criminals, those who attempted murder, who was, and chanting, they was like, oh, hang Mike Pence. So here they are calling and chanting to murder the sitting vice president at the time, Mike Pence, and then brought the gallows with the hangman's noose and put it on top of the steps of the U.S. Capitol. But she called those criminals patriots. But children are brilliant young students at South Carolina State University that were exercising their First Amendment right. She called them a woke mob. So bottom line is, Lieutenant Governor Yvette, all of a sudden was no longer going to be the keynote speaker. And as a matter of fact, I just found out there are going to be two keynote speakers, two black women who have a direct connection to South Carolina State University that was opened in 1896. The National Alumni Association president, a sister named Yolanda Williams, and I'm so happy for this young lady because I know she was one of the young people that was speaking out against having Lieutenant Governor Yvette speak there. The Student Government Association president, Zaria Tucker. Zaria Tucker. I'm so proud of you, young lady. I know your family is proud of you. She, along with the National Alumni Association president for SC State University for the Bulldogs, Yolanda Williams, are going to be the keynote speakers. Tomorrow morning, the commencement, the graduation ceremony starts at 10 a.m. up in Orangeburg, South Carolina, which is not even 40 minutes, maybe, depending on what part of the Charleston metro area, 30 to 40 minutes away. More like 30, really about 30 minutes. Really not that far at all. So a big shout out to Yolanda Williams and to Zaria Tucker. So proud of you. Because it is clear that this MAGA cult has declared, some would argue there's been a war on black people since 1619 in America, black Americans. You could make that argument, even there were some black Americans that was actually here before then, but now I don't want to confuse folks. We want to just stay focused, make the main thing the main thing. There's been a war on black Americans since our ancestors, African ancestors, were brought here under duress as a part of the transatlantic slave trade under this at the time, this new remix version and formation of slavery, chattel slavery. And chattel slavery, what made that different is that if you found yourself in bondage in a system of chattel slavery, not only were you destined to be enslaved for life, all of your offspring, your children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren and great-grandchildren, if that system would have existed long enough. And they're trying to bring it back. Yes, people like Kevin Roberts, he was the architect, the main architect behind Project 2025 that you heard me talking about. This guy has a bachelor's, a master's, and a PhD, and all of them were in like African studies, African American studies. As a matter of fact, he had a thesis and a dissertation studying slavery in Virginia and in Louisiana. So this light bulb head racist studied how demonic, how diabolical, what kind of evil soul, you don't even have a soul, to study at that level, at an academic, the highest academic level, to do what? Thesis and a dissertation to get a master's degree and a PhD in African American studies, to study these people so you could figure out the best way to oppress them and to rewrite and remix laws, to strip them of all of their economic power, war, economic power, business, economics, all tied together. It's war on black economics, war on black business, war on black health and health care, war on black political power. You name it, every level. So, as a matter of fact, which is leading me into my guess, part of the attempt to strip black political power is now, thanks to the Supreme Court, basically saying, that Voting Rights Act, ignore that. Y'all can go ahead and re-rig those of us, and I'm sure it's not just folks from the south side of Chicago. We had a different kind of rig, but jigger, you could jigger rig these boundaries and districts for, congressional seats for political power. And you could draw them up to where black people would have no African Americans representing them. And to get rid of as much black political power in terms of having African American representatives as possible. They don't even want, white people who are not racist, who have bought into anti-blackness. If you're one of those white Americans that's not brainwashed with the bullshit and not in the MAGA cult, you got to go too. They have already started. They had the maps ready. They're already releasing these new maps to strip black political power. But it's folks like Kevin Roberts. If you really study black people, then the one thing that you know, that the more you throw at us, it just makes us stronger. Black Americans are the people that somehow took the intestines of a pig, the entrails, and turned it into a delicacy that white people are paying big money to eat. Chitlins. Some stuff that I had never, the smell of chitlins literally made me physically ill, to where I used to leave the house when my grandmother would cook them. But the point I'm trying to make is we've always been able to rise like a phoenix from the ashes. So the more you try to do to us, the stronger you make us. But it's sinister and evil and diabolical. And they've started the process here in South Carolina we have one U.S. Congress district that is majority African American or black, and that congressman is Congressman James Clyburn. They're coming after his district now. So without any further delay, I want to bring my guest. He is the chairman of the Charleston County, South Carolina Democratic Party. He ran for mayor of North Charleston. He actually ran for a U.S. Senate seat against Mr. Timothy Scott, one American Negro who has been brainwashed, and he's bought into the anti-blackness, and it's paid him well, paid him handsomely, but nonetheless, Pastor Thomas Dixon is a force of nature. And without any further delay, thank you, Pastor Dixon, for allowing me to go ahead and get some stuff off my chest. I know the sign says it's the Geno Jones Show, but you part of the family. So thank you for coming back there. And shout out Chi-Town, South Side forever, baby. Yes. Unmute your mic for me. My bad.
South Side.
Yeah, South Side. Come on, South Side. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Don't be jigger-rigging nothing.
All right. So, Pastor Dixon, I covered it. Well, a lot. It's so much to cover. But there was a couple main things, especially here. But what's happening here is happening nationwide. So we're just almost like it's just a reflection of what's going on in terms of what's happened in terms of all these states that are controlled by this MAGA cult to strip away all black political power, economic power, educational power, wanting to dictate who can speak at historically black universities. But the redrawing of these congressional lines to take away all the black political power has started. So if you start where you want to start, if you want to start there, if you want to start with what's happening with South Carolina State, because it all really ties together, and I know you will. So you have the floor, Pastor.
Yeah, whatever direction you want to take on this, because it's not like we're at a loss for things to talk about.
You start where you want to start and finish wherever you want to finish.
Every day they come up with something new for us to talk about. but where I want to start talking about it is, because, I guess you could call me or yourself, according to the way they describe it, woke. And I ain't never found that to be a bad situation. I'd rather be woke than be asleep any day. Can you understand? Sleeping means that I'm going to miss everything.
Right.
So
thank you,
as
Pastor
Dixon, I'm woke as hell.
And I'm pausing you because let's educate folks, okay? And I know they're folks that hate watch. So welcome to all you haters and MAGA cult members. Is cussing and getting pissed off. How you doing?
Nah, y'all doing
right. You're back at you. Your mama, or like Representative Justin Pearson. I don't know if you saw that video today in Tennessee. He was like, boy. Boy, no, you watch.
Yeah.
So woke. Listen, we're going to explain to you. If you know history, the term woke or to be woke or awake really came from our ancestors, our culture that was telling you to be aware of your surroundings, to be careful, especially living through the Jim Crow era. You had to be woke, be awake, literally, because not being woke could cost you your life.
But even when we crossed the threshold into the 70s, in the later 60s and 70s, when the last poets hit the scene, they talked about wake up.
Yes.
We're all through,
Yes.
And the reality is that for a while, as a people, it seemed like we actually were awake for a while. But because the outside influences are allowed to come into our community and subvert what we're doing and put their ideas and their thoughts, and we receive it. And then some of us who like to take that dollar in order to sell us out, Sambo's real.
Right. And all money, for those who are watching, yes, Timothy and Byron Donalds, and, Mr. Clarence Thomas, but he was taking so much of Harlan Crow's money and bought RVs and paid for his mama's house. But all money, and both of us growing up on the south side of Chicago, you know, the old school, the real OGs, as we call them, would tell us all money ain't good money.
That's right. That's right. And whether folks embrace it or not, which most folks don't even embrace it, all skin folk ain't kin folk.
Say that. That's
But the other side thinks so. That's why they take these black people and put them in front of black people and run them for office. People who done sold us out because they think we just that shallow, that stupid. Even though they say we woke, they are playing us like we are asleep as can be, like we Rumpelstiltskin or something. You know, and that's, we should be insulted by that. That these MAGA folks think that we're just that stupid, just that shallow, just that uninformed, that whatever they tell us or put in front of us, that we'll fly with it. Like the lieutenant governor, Pam, whatever the heck her last name is, was a good fit to be the commencement speaker at South Carolina State, a historically black university. And we're supposed to believe that. And even to the point where she want to fight about it. And her cohorts want to say they're going to take money from there. And we just supposed to go right along with the program. But we see what happened. You see, because there's a younger generation out here that yeah, they woke. They woke as heck. And they ain't scared. They scared.
Not at
now,
all.
If I hate to say it, but if that would have been a university full of a bunch of gray-haired black folk like myself, she might have been able to pull that stunt off. We'll let that sink in.
You could be right. Listen, Pastor, I can't argue with you on that, because depending on, you know, what group, hey.
They would have been sitting back there talking about, well, we're going to pray about it.
Yep, and been counting that money afterwards.
And you know that.
Master show was good to us. Look how much money Master gave us.
But them young students stood up. They hit the streets. They maintained a peaceful demonstration and protest.
Yes.
Peaceful, 100%. After dark, not in the daytime. After dark, when the most trouble gets triggered. And here come the white lady. Y'all forgive me. And she wants to call them a woke mob. Now, that term mob, that's a hard three-letter word, mob.
Mm-hmm.
I've known mobs historically to be like Klansmen. When they ride, they were called a mob. I've known where vigilante justice was called a mob.
We saw
definitely the most recent mob.
Thank you. We saw mob in living color on January 6th, live streaming.
That's the most recent and best example we have of a mob was on January 6, 2021 in Washington, D.C. That's a mob. And to make it so bad, that was a daytime mob.
That was on national global TV, shown live around the world. And they were live streaming their own crime.
Absolutely. We got a clown right here in the Low Country that was there live streaming it. Hi, I'm Corey Allen. You fool. You know. Unfortunately, when he got arrested when FBI picked him up, you know, he was released. But you know, that is what it is. It ain't that he got arrested, it's that he was in Washington, D.C. in support of this MAGA craziness.
Yes.
With the mob. Now I know about the lynch mob. I know about the mafia mob. But to talk about these young African-American scholars, men and women, who the statement was made after the fact that they had been in the streets. So she saw that they were not, according to the definition of a mob, that they were peaceful protesters. But in order to put that clickbait out to her half-witted followers, she labeled them just as they've labeled black people for centuries.
Yes.
Demonized. Mm-hmm. Paint them as animals. as a mob, because anybody hears that word woke mob, your mind is automatically going to think, oh, this must have been a violent group.
Yes.
And if you don't know no better, if you're in those echo chambers where they put out only their information, they're going to think, oh, these were some dangerous people.
Thank you.
But the reality is they were just doing what every American should always be able to do, and that's express their First Amendment rights. And this lady, Pamela Yvette, I don't know what her name is, whatever her name is.
Heifer? How about
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Heifer?
yeah. LTG.
You know,
But
Pastor Dixon, my grandmother didn't curse. Yeah, she was from my ancestors. You know, Chicago, basically, I tell people, whatever big northern city you lived in, there was a huge migration north in the 30s, 40s, 50s. So whatever interstate, the main interstate that went from like south to north, that's where your ancestors, like ours, being from Chicago, like my grandfather was from Mississippi, my grandmother was from Arkansas. She didn't cuss.
yeah,
So when if she called you a heifer, oh, you just got cussed out. You was like a
absolutely.
BH. Yeah. If she called, and then she said, you nasty, trifling heifer, you really got cussed out. I'm sure you heard that word too. Some of your parents or grandparents, they would, oh, that heifer.
No, absolutely, absolutely. I heard some other much mild-mannered words that in that day and age was considered cussing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's crazy that whoever, and it's my understanding that it was both the college president and the chairman of the board of trustees.
So President Conyers, because I said, Pastor Dixon, so leadership begins and ends at the top. And the lieutenant governor, this heifer, she didn't invite herself to be the keynote speaker. And you're the president. The buck stops with you.
Exactly.
I mean, you thought this was a good idea, and you didn't apparently he didn't have any conversation with the student body. This young lady who's going to be one of the keynote speakers, the president before couldn't have, which is why they had to protest.
That was intentional. They didn't want to talk to the student body because the student body, they woke. And they would have told him straight up, man, you must be tripping. You out your mind. You lost your darn mind. And I believe that they would have told him that. And so that failure to actually reach out to the student body, have that conversation about who was going to speak at their commencement exercise, I believe it was intentional because he knew, I don't know the intricacies of it, but I've seen it in the past, that there's been some backdoor under the table dealings where the wallet was up under the table. I'm trying to be nice how I say this, but ultimately she got assigned to speak at a commencement exercise that she shouldn't have even been invited to, period. She has no place on a historically black college or university in the state, in the great state of South Carolina or the great nation of the United States of America.
And Pastor Dixon, I'm pausing you. Let's explain to people why, which is simple. If look at the policies that this woman represents, she's called somehow DEI is a scam. She calls young black students. She's embraced this whole MAGA movement. She's got her Orange Lord and Master, Orange Hitler, all in the ass. And yeah, I supported him, Mr. President Trump, blah, blah, blah. So you support everything you support snatching babies, American citizens out of their homes. You support this secret police who's not so secret, this personal Gestapo force, these ICE agents and Custom and Border Patrol agents who are shooting white people point blank down in the street in broad daylight. And you support $5 billion, $50 billion spent on this. There's so many things I want to call it. It's a war, but it's foolishness. That's the bottom line. Because there's so many. I'm pausing because there's so many things. $50 billion on you. last summer, last June, Orange Hitler and Israel's version of Orange Hitler, Bibi Netanyahu, publicly with their full chest, yes, we completely obliterated. Well, Orange Hitler was just here. We've obliterated Iran's nuclear capability. Then until they didn't, about a couple months. Well, they still got all this enriched uranium. They can still make a weapon. But what was that for? But they didn't have an actual weapon. They had the material, but it was going to take a year or a couple years. But then he came back after saying they obliterated everything. Iran is a week away from building a bomb that could strike us in America. So we've got us in Israel. We had to go and start this war. And now, since the Iranians have closed down that little narrow piece of waterway, Strait of Hormuz, with 20% of the oil, now gas that was in Charleston, South Carolina, that was $2.50, $2.60, is now damn near $5. And if you got to put premium, that's just the 87 octane. If you have to put premium in your car, that's $5. And if you got a truck and you need diesel, that's damn near $6.
That's your business. That's right.
So and you can speak to this better than I can, but just all the policies that she's openly embraced. So why would every move that this regime has made since from the day they got in office, when they basically got rid of the this executive order that's been around since 1965, to where if you were a contractor, if you had a contract with the federal government, that you could not basically have segregated facilities. He struck that down. So now if you have a contract, if your company has a contract with the federal government, or you can have separate cafeteria, separate bathrooms, separate, you name it, separate anything. It's like, nope, you black folks can't come in here. It's been a war on black America on every level. Like I said, business, economics, education, health, political power. That's why, for those who don't understand, that's why these young people, those values or lack of values, those immoral ideas and ideology, these young people didn't embrace. They said, no, it didn't align with our humanity. Everything you stand for is a war on me and my community and my culture.
Question being, in the aftermath of all of that, and all of the uproar that we saw over that in our community, how many of them people are registered to vote? How many of them are going to go vote on June 9th? And how many more of them, or less of them, are going to vote on November 3rd? We the rah-rah people. We love to Facebook fight. We are social media ninjas. But when it comes time for us to stand on the battlefield of social justice that's going to benefit us, we not like them. We not like the opposition. They'll fight. We not like those students who fought. Another question is, how many of those students, again, are going to go back to business as usual until it's time to call up the justice cry again? We got to maintain this posture. You used a couple of words to describe Yvette. Now, I guess I'm going to go with that, Yvette. One is that she embraced the MAGA movement. The other, that she supported the MAGA movement. I'd like to take it on a different level with that, because she's not alone in that.
Oh, no.
She's not, there are things that have come up that I support and that I embrace. But there are other inherent things that are inside of me that makes me who I am. And they don't have to have anything to, they motivate my support and my embracing, but it's not who I am. So who she is, who they are unapologetic, probably unwitting racist, white supremacist trash. I'm going to put it out there just like that. She was born into that. Of course, at birth, just like any other, the level of equality at birth is the same all across the board. But she was raised into white supremacy, into a nation that thrives on white supremacy, that teaches inferiority for people of color and superiority for white people. And she's embraced that in her heart. So this is who she is.
And
This
you know
is who
what's
she.
ironic about that, Pastor Dixon? Don't lose your train of thought.
Mhm,
So her origins are from Poland.
mhm,
When her ancestors first came to America,
mhm,
the ruling class looked down upon her ancestors. Like
mhm,
her ancestors were looked at like N-words.
mhm.
They didn't want Eastern Europeans here in America.
That's funny though, because you put all of them in one room, the Polish and this others and the whatever, and you say pick the Polish out, you can't pick them out. They all white.
That part. Thank you. But you know, it's
So,
funny. They weren't all
so,
white when they got here. The
mhm,
Irish, the
mhm,
Italians, the Germans, the Eastern Europeans from Poland or Ukraine. Well, then was Soviet. Ukraine was part of the Soviet Union, or from like the Slavic countries. You know,
mhm. The only way
Czechoslovakia.
that they could tell the difference in them was when they started talking.
That part.
Other than that, they couldn't tell the difference. And so it got too difficult the more that they interacted to tell the difference between the two. As a matter of fact, some got so good at masking their dialects and their inflections and whatever that you really couldn't tell the difference. And now today, you get a room full of white people, you got all of them in there, everybody, but you can't pick them out. You can't separate them. We'll put one brother in there, light skinned,
Don't
dark
worry.
skinned. Don't make everybody in the room gonna know that one. And that is the seed of racial prejudice and bigotry. But this lady, it's in her bones. You know that they've I got a word today that they've actually put Calhoun back up again. That he is actually
Explain to those watching around the country who John C. Calhoun is.
right. John C. Calhoun was a South Carolina statesman and a white supremacist. He died, I believe, in 1850. But his whole premise was he literally said that slavery was a good thing. It was a good thing. I did a little homework. You might want to read something right quick. He said,
Please, you got as much time as take as much time as you want.
yeah. He said these words. He said, and this was in 1837, defending slavery. He said, let me not be understood as admitting, even by implication, that the existing relationships between the two races in the slave holding states as black and white is an evil. He said, I don't want you to think that I'm saying that it's evil. Farther otherwise, I hold it to be a good. That's what this man said. He was a slaveholder and he promoted slave owning. He said, I appeal to the facts. I appeal to the facts. Never before has the black race of Central Africa, from the dawn of history to the present day, attained a condition so civilized and so improved, not only physically, but morally and intellectually. He said slaves had it good.
Wow.
They had it good. Never have they had it so good.
And he
But
didn't.
the next line in his speech is really crucial because he said, it came among us. I say it again. It came among us in a low, degraded, and savage condition. And in the course of a few generations, it has grown up under the fostering care of our institutions.
So our African ancestors weren't even human. They were it.
It,
It.
it,
Wow.
it. And this man was one of the biggest promoters of slavery in his time. And and his conversation, it doesn't near about reflect how he treated his slaves or black people, period. No, he was just as cruel as any of them. But they erected a statue in the heart of Charleston in what's called Marion Square.
Mm-hmm.
And it was at a point where they were. It was not long, I believe, not long after Reconstruction, and it was another symbol of white supremacy. It was the same way that they put the Confederate flag on top of the South Carolina State House. Right, not long, I believe it was after the Voting Rights Act, in order to show. I was getting ready to say something.
Hey,
You,
come on, you don't have to
folks,
edit. Listen, man.
yeah, I got to though.
Yeah, well, in your
folks gonna
position,
stay in your place.
I can say it. Yeah, I'll say it for you. Don't worry. Yeah, right. Pastor, I can say this is my show. I ain't running for office, so I'm gonna tell the truth,
know.
shame the devil. But you go ahead and finish, Pastor.
But that's basically what the symbolism was. First, the statue was on the ground in Marion Square in Charleston, and because people kept defiling it, they raised it above the ground. Ultimately, it was maybe about 50 feet up. And a few years ago,
I didn't know that story though. I've been here 21 years. I didn't know that story. Okay, wow.
yeah, they raised it up, but it took on a different look. Of course, the raised statue had symbolism to it. The raised statue was of him standing with his arms out, facing south, with his back to the north.
Wow.
As a Southern leader, his back to the north.
Wow.
But a few years ago, when the previous mayor was here, they found a loophole that allowed them to remove the statue. So they removed it. And that statue has been in some kind of storage place for these last few years or whatever, while people like Yvette and her counterparts and the Daughters of Confederacy and all these others have been plotting on how to get it back up. And it's been told to me just as of today that they have actually resurrected the dead statue of John C. Calhoun somewhere on John's Island, but they don't say where it is. They won't reveal where it is.
They don't want it to be defiled again.
Basically, yeah. But I say all of that because here, Miss Yvette, she tweeted something earlier today about that statue going back up. She's in favor of it. She's a racist at heart. She's a bigot at heart. She says John C. Calhoun, I'm not, this is not a direct quote, but I can hear her now. John C. Calhoun was a great patriot. Yeah, probably the same kind of patriot we saw on January 6th, right?
She called him she called him a patriot.
She called him a patriot then. And so that gives anybody, and it will give anybody, of course, all of the siding with MAGA, as you pointed out, it's all correct. But just at the basic level, to see something like this statue that for Black people is so offensive, represents such a period of history as no other nationality on the earth has endured as we did. And she knows how we feel about that, but still in all, she's championing this statue going back up and excusing this man who did so much harm to Black people. And this dame was supposed to be giving the commencement speech in front of a student body, the senior class of South Carolina State University. And the clown president said that she was supposed to be giving them an inspirational speech. What kind of inspiration could she be to any one of those children? That's my question. What kind of inspiration? Where did he dig that from? Unless it was deep down in his wallet.
Yep. Wire transfer. That Zelle notification showed up real nice with a whole bunch of zeros. So I want you, Pastor Dixon, I want you to speak. I want to tie all this in. The last date of voter registration to vote to vote in the primaries, which are June 9th here in South Carolina, is Friday, May 8th.
Tomorrow.
In person, they have till 5 o'clock. If they're going to do it online, I think the deadline is Saturday. If you're going to register, if you want to register by mail, you have till Sunday. So I want you to give a call to action, because we talked about, because all this, these people are showing you. These people are showing you they don't give a shit about you, and they're bold with it, with their full chest. They're like, they had these meetings up in Columbia. Oh yeah, we're gonna draw. We're gonna draw the boundaries and redraw these districts to basically get rid of Congressman Clyburn's district. They've been bold about it. They've talked about defunding South Carolina State University, since those students didn't want this heifer, Lieutenant Governor Yvette, to speak. Now, before you all do that, you need to run South Carolina State University their check, because
right.
you all do. The state of South Carolina owes South Carolina State University, based on there was an act, the Second Morrill Act. You can Google it, Morril, Second Morrill Act of 1890. Basically, land grant colleges and universities, public universities. South Carolina State University is one. The school that some of you all that's big college football fans probably heard of, Clemson University. It's another public university. So according to this act that was signed into law, 1890, for every dollar one public university got, the other another public university was supposed to get. So the Biden administration, their Department of Education, I guess, decided to just see, okay, has South Carolina been funding South Carolina State University property? Now, they only went back past the Dixon 30 years. This was during the Biden administration. So that means they only went back to the 90s. School was open in 1896. Now, just going back 30 years, they found out that the state of South Carolina owes South Carolina State University $500 million, $500 million. So if y'all want to, you can do all of the funding you want after you run them that check. Run them that $500 million and then go on about your business. We'll do what we need to do. So you have that along with redrawing basically redrawing the lines, redistricting, or whatever you want to call it, basically stripping black political power, all that, the threat to South Carolina State University financially, and we can speak to our own political power because we have it if we use it. So I want you to give a call to action because I know you get frustrated, a lot of us do, but I know you have faith, especially in the culture, in the community, and you have faith in humanity because you wouldn't, you're a pastor, so you're a man of God, so you have to, you see the evil, but there's good in man and woman, and you lean into the goodness of humanity, like I do. So let's ignite that. I mean, people, maybe some folks have been asleep, but so much is going on now. It's like these folks are clear. This war on Black America is real, and it is affecting, even if you don't do politics, politics is showing, it's going to do you. It's going to do you. It's going to do your kids or your nieces, your nephew, or your grandchildren. It's going to do you economics. You've got several 100,000 Black American women and men that have had their qualified, overly qualified, that have been taken out of federal jobs and a lot of corporate jobs under, you are Black, you're a DEI hire. And now they're going so far as anti-discrimination. Oh, a white person that didn't get a job because a Black person got the job. Now white people are saying, well, that's racism. And I was denied the job because they hired a Black person over me. Because your ass obviously wasn't as qualified as a Black person. There's never been an example in the history of America, Pastor Dixon, where an unqualified Black person could even get access to an interview with some company. Let alone to get the job over a more qualified white person. There's no example of that in the history of this country.
They'll hire a janitor as the dean of a college before they give it to a qualified Black person. And that's just the real. That's just the real. When it comes to our community and the call to action, I'm a little mystified because I don't really know what it'll take. We are church people, and so we understand about Jesus going in the temple and turning over the tables, right? So when we think about it as Black people, we think about Jesus turning over the MAGA tables and everything. But the reality is, I do believe until we go up under the tree and turn over the domino table, until we go up in people's houses and turn over the spades table, go up in the club and turn over the crystal tables and the henny tables,
To the VIP
and get
section. Go in the
yeah,
VIP
in the
section.
VIP section and get and get people to understand this ain't no joke.
Yeah.
These people are trying to kill us.
Yes.
They're trying
Literally.
to
Literally. Yes.
literally, and it's better. It'll be better even for us in this dispensation of time than it will be for our children and their children if we don't do what's necessary right now. So my call to action to our people is to understand what we're working with and what we're working against. For far too long, our lifestyle has described success or has made us more part of society because we've been entertainers. Entertainers have made us a part of society, not because we are overly qualified or whatever our skill set. We will block on every skill set out here from achieving except for when it came to entertainment. And
And
when I say
sports, athletics. Yep.
that's entertainment.
Yes, it is.
That's
That's an excellent
entertainment.
point. Thank you. I'm glad you framed it that way. That's beautiful. Thank you for
That's
framing it that way.
that's
Yes.
entertainment.
Yes.
And as long as we for a long time, who still made all the money?
The owners.
Even in sports, in music, all along,
The
we had
owners.
to fight to even get the rights to the music that we made.
Yes.
Crazy,
Who owned the
crazy.
catalogs? Which is,
Yeah.
it ain't an accident.
That's
When
just
Michael Jackson, all of a sudden, his doctor OD'd him with propofol, but at the same time, Sony Music was really upset that they were pissed off that Michael Jackson had bought that Sony ATV catalog that had all the Sony, even the white artists from every genre, and the Beatles catalog, and they were after they sold it, CBS Records sold it to Michael and got pissed off because he owned it
Mm.
and they wanted it back. But that's digress.
That's-
I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. So
But that's
give us
that's
the
real.
call to
That's
action.
slavery.
Give us three if you need to do more. But I'm just think three main action steps that because I know you say you don't think people are pissed off, but I think every day people are getting more and more pissed off. And here in
Right.
South Carolina, what happened to those students up at South Carolina State University? And let's use those young people as an example. Pastor Dixon, you know better than most. You've been a civil rights warrior all your adult life, most of your adult life, and since I've been here 21 years. If you think about the civil rights movement in the 60s, the leaders were in their 20s. Dr. King was 39 when he was assassinated. When Dr. King first got started, he was in his 20s. Those babies that was out there protesting during the Birmingham bus boycott, those are kids, those are babies that they were sicking dogs and water. I mean, like elementary and middle school students. So young people have always took the lead. So, and these young people at South Carolina State, they showed the courage, the conviction, the morality, the standing on moral, as they say, standing on business. They stood on the moral business and the moral foundation and high ground of no, we're not going to embrace your anti-blackness and allow you, when you've been open with your anti-blackness and inhumanity, with the policies you've embraced, and how are you going to inspire us to hate ourselves? So I hope we can follow their lead, but give us those action steps. If you got three main ones you want to give us, but feel free, you can add more. Take as much time as you need.
Yeah, I just want to go back to the year Dr. King was killed. He was killed April 4th, 1968. 2 months before that, on February 8th, 1968, three black students at South Carolina State University were gunned down by a white South Carolina highway patrolman. There were probably about 60 people who were actually injured in that whole thing. Most of those took bullet wounds to their back. And the three that were killed, 19-year-old Henry Smith, 18-year-old Samuel Hammond, and 17-year-old Delano Middleton.
Thank you for lifting their name up. Thank you.
17, 18, and 19-year-olds. Two of them, 18 and 19-year-olds, were students at SC State
Mm.
at the time.
Wow.
And the 17-year-old was there because it was his habit to come and pick up his mother who worked in the kitchen on campus.
Wow.
And they were protesting because they were not allowed in the bowling alley in Orangeburg, right around the corner, not far from the school.
Mm-hmm.
They had gone there, they had planned on going there in order to integrate. These are students again. This is the spirit of SC State that we saw at work
Yes.
a couple of weeks ago. The spirit of Smith, Hammond, and Middleton. And they spoke on it. Them students spoke on it. They told that president, I heard them tell that president, this is the student, this is the school of Smith, Hammond, and Middleton. This is what we do. We don't bow down to these people. We stand up because they died. Blood was shed in the streets here, and they died.
Yes.
They were trying to actually kill Bakari Sellers' father that night,
Yeah,
Cleveland Sellers.
and he got arrested.
He was the only one that went to prison for it and wasn't even involved in it.
Right.
He was the target. But I say all that to say this. Again, that was 2 months before Dr. King was assassinated.
Wow.
And even people here in South Carolina, many of them don't even know that ever happened. People born and raised here don't know.
The Orangeburg Massacre. Google it. All right.
That's right.
And y'all with your Copilot or Gemini, whatever you got, your Chat GPT, you put that in the search engine. The Orangeburg Massacre.
That's right. And learn your history. Because what these people are doing right now is nothing new. If they thought that they could have gotten away with the same thing 2 weeks ago at SC State, they would have shot at those kids there.
Absolutely.
They would have done it. And so the call to action is for us to quit running around here with these rose-colored lens on it, thinking life is sweet tea and a party. And it's because it's not. These people are trying to do away with us. When they say make America great again, for us, it ain't never been great. So what are they talking about? They're talking about literally enslaving us, taking us back to the place, even though there's no more cotton fields. So I just want you to understand it. If they don't have anywhere to go put us to work in order to make them more money, what do you think they're going to do with us?
Well, you know what they're going to do. Why is the Department of Homeland Security got hundreds of billions of dollars? They're trying to build these detention centers. I'm sure that they're probably building one here, Pastor Dixon. Maybe you can bring us up on that. I'm confident. I know in South Carolina there's already. I just don't know where, but maybe they're trying to keep it on the low because they know folks will really speak out. But they can only snatch up so many undocumented illegal immigrants. Then what? Because they're talking about building facilities for 15,000 people.
And who's supposed to fill it up?
That part.
It sure ain't them. It sure enough ain't them.
Right. If you're going to deport them, you're talking about if you're going to deport 1 million illegals, as that racist ass, bubblehead, punk ass Stephen Miller says, then why do you need to build these thousands of detention centers that can hold up to 15,000 people all across America?
I think the building of them is a front. I think each one will have a huge furnace, and I'm just going to drop that right there and leave that right there.
I wouldn't put it past. I don't put anything past this regime.
We're not written in the book that they've written. We're written out of it, especially with the way technology has replaced human workforce.
Ooh, that part.
They don't need us like that anymore. So they don't care. When we at the ground level, when we see these racists acting up and talking to Karens and all of that, they're just being empowered by a much greater system. Their hearts are being triggered to do what they've been taught to do, trained to do, to be racist bigots. That's all. Pamela Yvette, she's doing what she was raised to do. It's natural for her.
And it's working. Apparently, looking at the latest polls I saw on TV, I think today or yesterday, apparently it's working in the primary, at least in terms of the polls now. She was in first place. She was, I think I had a couple points ahead of Alan,
Wilson.
Alan Wilson. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, but she's padding that now with her Pro Calhoun thing. She's just padding this, laying it on. That's all. That's all. And but we have to realize that this is what's happening. As long as we are asleep at the wheel, as long as we think life revolves around our partying and enjoying life and all of this, and we start missing it. We complaining about the gas going up. We're complaining about food prices, but the reality is, the same people who understand there's a problem are not ready to do what it takes in order to fix the problem. And what does it take? Right now, with tomorrow being the last day for for in-person registering to vote, everybody should have been checking their voter registration card today. If you got to do that, go to scvotes.org. You just .gov, scvotes.gov. It's like 5 questions, and then you click to say, it takes a minute. Click to say you're not a robot. You hit submit, and all of your voting information will come up. If your voting information don't come up, you ain't registered. and you can literally, if you got a valid South Carolina driver's license or a South Carolina ID card, valid ID card, you can register right there online, and they'll mail you your voter registration card. And that's in preparation to vote in the primary election. Now, the primary election is on June 9th, but folks, we ain't trying to wait till no June 9th to do anything, since the door is open for anybody who wants to go early vote to do so. Starting May 26th, Tuesday, May 26th to June 5th is early voting. Polling places will be open from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. It'll be about 5 polling stations around Charleston County open, not all of the precincts, but easily accessible. And you can go vote at any one of them. You don't have to vote at a specific one. You can vote at any one of them.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Instead of waiting till
Election day,
June 9th, election day, to go vote, because we all know on June 9th what's going to happen.
Thank you.
It's going to rain.
That's going to be late. That's late voting. That's what I'm afraid. If you vote on election day, that's late. Good luck with that.
But if it rained, if they ain't giving away free drinks before 7, our people ain't going. But I said it. Y'all hit me up. I'll let you know. So all the people, I'm gonna wait till the 9th. I'm gonna wait till the 9th. All of a sudden they get up on the 9th and it's raining. Man, our folks ain't going to vote, but then they had 2 weeks already to go vote.
All right, so y'all, I need you all to prove Pastor Dixon wrong. I love this brother. He's from Chicago, but prove him wrong.
Prove me wrong.
Because it's I shouldn't give up the ghost, but it's a mind game, y'all. He's pissing y'all off intentionally, but you should be pissed off. That's what he's saying. You should, if nothing else, Pastor Dixon has it on his social media pages. When that heifer, the lieutenant governor, called those kids a mob, that alone should have pissed you off. And now you see, especially if you live in Congressman Clyburn's district, is that what, District 6?
6, correct.
If you live in that district, listen, they're about to carve that up, take away your political power. You need to be pissed about it. But we need to start here. That's lawmakers here in South Carolina. So a lot of these folks that are voting to redraw these lines, to take away your political power, what are you going to do about it? What are you prepared to do about it? Like Pastor Dixon said, now you got a chance. You got show up for yourself, like those students at South Carolina State University did. They showed up for themselves. They showed up for each other. They stood up for themselves. They stood up for each other. They spoke up and spoke out for themselves. And they spoke up and they spoke out for each other. So all these old grown ass people, what excuse do we have collectively? These people are not playing with you. You had people that went to school for 20, almost to get from a bachelor's to a PhD. That's over a decade of study to study black people, to study them so they can figure out the right way to recreate legislation to oppress you and to take away all your humanity and rights and resources. Kevin Roberts, the architect. This son of a bitch, like I said, he bachelor's, master's, PhD, studying in African studies, African American study, thesis and dissertation on how slavery operated, how it worked in Virginia and Louisiana. These people got the long game. So follow that plan of action, and anything else you want to add to it, Pastor Dixon. In closing, please go ahead.
Yeah, it's just a matter right now of folks first off understanding. We've talked about this Pamela, the lieutenant governor. Well, and Geno already said it. She's running for governor of the state of South Carolina. She wants to be where Henry McMaster was and is and will be the former governor. She wants to be the governor of the state of South Carolina. And you take everything that we know about what she's done this has been the most exposure to black people. Black people all over South Carolina know what she's done, know who she is, what she's about, and she's running for governor. And if that ain't enough reason to go make sure,
say that, Pastor Dixon.
But then again, when we have, and I am the chairman of the Charleston County Democrats, we have 3 candidates that are running for governor that will be decided. One of those will make it past the primary. That's why we need people to be registered to vote right now and to go vote early, beginning on May 26th, between that and June 5th, or at late voting on June 9th, which is election day. But we have 3 candidates running for governor, one of which is going to face a Republican at the end of it in November. And the primary is what's going to decide that.
I want you to take time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interrupting you because I want you to take some time to at least introduce, because we've talked about this heifer, the lieutenant governor, enough. Mm-hmm. We've platformed her enough, even though we've cut her a new asshole. I want you to at least platform, and I want you to introduce, so people can go and do their own homework and they can do their own research. Absolutely. They can go, I'm sure, to the website for the state and for Charleston County. But introduce them, if you don't mind, to the 3 people that's running, who will be running against her in the general. One of the 3. You can, and people can decide out of the 3 who they want to get behind.
Yeah. So we have 3 Democratic candidates who want to be the candidate, the nominee, to run against a Republican in November. We have a businessman from the upstate. His name is Billy Webster. Gray-haired white guy, nice fella. Just met him for the first time a few days ago. Do your own research. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it at that.
That's why we said that. Yes. Mm-hmm. Put these damn phones to good use. Outside of doom scrolling on TikTok, put them to do some research.
Yeah. Do some real research on these candidates. Okay. The other one is a Charleston attorney named Mullins McLeod. And Mullins McLeod has been around for a while, and he's got a Afrocentric campaign team. With Quadro Campbell and endorsed by Wendell Gilliard and whatever. Okay, so Mullins, Mullins, last name McLeod, Mcleod, McLeod. Okay, please do your research on these folks. Okay, and the third one, especially, I want you to do your research on. Okay, those first 2 are white. Third one's a black guy, 41-year-old black guy. He's a state representative. In the South Carolina House of Representatives. His name is Dr. Jermaine Johnson.
And he's currently in the South Carolina House of Representatives right now.
Mm-hmm. Currently in the House of Representatives and running for governor of South Carolina. Now, Governor, one of the things that I better not go down that trail, but do your research. Dr. Jermaine Johnson, Jermain Johnson. I'll just give you the Reader's Digest version. I know you ain't nobody old enough to understand Reader's Digest.
Wait,
I
or
said
the
it.
Chat GPT version, the
Yeah,
Copilot AI version. You know, they give you that
yeah,
little. You type it in and you put the prompt in, and it gives you one little paragraph, and then you
hmm
got to click the button to show more.
yeah. But it's good fella, good fella. Your research will prove that. Each one of them have their campaign website. You can look them up. I think Jermaine is Jermaine for SC or something like that. Look them up, and your vote in the primary election is going to decide which one of those three, Billy Webster, Mullins McLeod, or Jermaine Johnson, which one of those three is going to move past June 9th and go on to November 3rd to run against the Republican, whoever it might be, Pam Yvette or Alan Wilson or one of them other clowns on the other side, MAGA people. Okay. But we need somebody in that seat that understands everybody, who is not monolithic in how they address people, how they how they develop solutions and everything. We need somebody who understands everybody. And the outcome of this election, the primary election, is going to give us one candidate. And no matter which one of those three, as a Democrat, it's my obligation to make sure that after the primary, I get behind whichever one of those wins. That's where we've been lacking at. We got these people, everybody go to their own corner and carrying on. No, we need to win in November. Winning for your candidate on in the primary election is one thing. Winning for the people, that's the November election. So we can't let our affiliation with one candidate or another candidate blind us from after the primary getting involved and staying involved with that one candidate moving forward. That person's going to need all the help they can so we can flip South Carolina. Listen, them people would have no power whatsoever. They would not be as arrogant as they are. I'm gonna tell you something. And I just noticed it, not long ago, that in the last year since I've been the chair of the Charleston County Democrats, I don't hear none of them MAGA folks that like to confront me talking about snowflake no more. They don't use that term snowflake no more because they know that it's fortunate that I'm saved. I'm saved, sanctified, Holy Ghost filled, and fire baptized. Other than somebody that catch one, cross their lips
Right.
straight up. And ain't no snowflakes around here. And they stopped using the term. I haven't heard it in a year because they know we fighting back.
Yeah.
And we're gonna fight back to the point that with the help of everybody in your listening audience, be they in South Carolina or beyond, that you make sure that you're registered to vote. And that's the only first step. After that, you got to go tell other people to get ready to go vote. And then you got to make sure that when it's time to go vote, first I'll go vote early. And if by chance you mess around and miss the early voting, go on election day. And after that, get ready for the general election because we can win. They keep talking about this is a red state. No, this ain't no. The only red that we see as black people is red in the street, blood in the street. That's it. That's it.
It's funny
This
you
ain't
went
no
there.
red.
I want you to speak to that because I was going to ask you. I was going to basically put out a challenge for those who'll say, well, South Carolina, oh, they voted for Orange Hill for Trump by so many points, and the Republicans got control of the state house and the state senate. They have control because too many of us. This state is almost a third black.
Mm-hmm.
So between those and to the whites of South Carolina who see our common humanity, I'm challenging you too. I'm really challenging you to speak to your people. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You need to
Because
speak to your. I need you to. We need you to speak to your people.
that's
All
right.
right, that look
Each
like
one,
you.
each one.
Your Mima and Peepaws and your aunts and uncles with that bullshit that
Mm-hmm.
this voted for their gas prices to be $5 a gallon. That's voting for their grandkids to have to sign up when this war really jumps off because they're going to bring back the registration is going to be mandatory for 18-year-olds to sign up for this war that this fool is going to continue. But for people to
Fired up.
say, well, Democrats can never win in South Carolina, please, just please, briefly or non-briefly, teach people the history of South Carolina because South Carolina has had Democratic governors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's hogwash talking about we can't win in South Carolina. Only reason we can't win in South Carolina is because we don't go vote in South Carolina. That's it. Every last one of the Republican people go vote. But we make excuses and carrying on, and we let them tell us about the Democrats is the problem. When reality is, Republicans been in charge of this state for 24 years now. And so everything bad in this state is they did it. But they done told our black people and our black people, yeah, we know y'all telling us the truth. We love that. We love you, massive, you know. But the reality is that they are the ones have dogged this state and especially us out because we always gonna get the worst end of the stick no matter what.
Yes.
And so instead of us getting behind the Democrats, who ain't perfect, they ain't perfect. I ain't getting ready to start trying to say that. But I know one thing, they do believe in the same ideas that we do. They believe in an educational system that black children have benefited from, called the public school education system. They believe in investing in that education system. They believe in universal health care, where anybody who gets sick deserves to be able to get health care. They believe in at least trying to do something about this gun violence in the street, where Republicans, all they want to do is help out the gun makers and the gun lobby.
And give you more guns.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Especially for people who have the ID and the coloration to get guns whenever they want them. They get guns that they can walk all around. You start running around here talking about open carry and you a black man. You better watch your behind.
that part, yes.
Straight up. But the reality is that in all of the things where the social justice issues like that I fight for, those are the things that are the fundamental principles of the Democratic Party. I was at a rally last week on May Day. You know, that's Labor Day, right? That's for labor for workers and everything. I was there and I made a statement to them, and because I've been involved in labor for well over a decade, out in the streets, stopping traffic, protesting and everything, trying to unionize Boeing and all of that. But the reality is, in all of my years of it as a labor activist, I ain't never seen a Republican out in the street standing next to me, talking about we need a living wage, talking about we need you. I ain't never, out of the hundreds of people I've stood with, I ain't never had a Republican stand next to me. Never, because they don't believe in that. They don't believe in that. They think that we all supposed to be slaves and stay slaves. That's why South Carolina's still trying to make this a slave state, you know. But you know, all of those things though, and that's why we have to take it seriously. We can't be listening to people that say all the Democrats are the problem or they're just as bad as the other. They're all the same.
Nope.
They're not the same. They're not the same. And you mess around and don't vote this time, and you're gonna see it. You're gonna see it because they're trying their best to steal this election and end elections totally.
Yes, that part.
Means once elections are ended, that means this becomes a dictatorship. And dictatorships are when the poorest, when the least of these suffer the most.
Absolutely.
When they come and they take your kids, you talking about the draft thing? It's involuntarily signing up now. They're signing up people involuntarily now. You don't have to go volunteer or sign up for the draft, nothing like that. I think it's starting in December or something like that.
December. Yes.
December this
It'll
year.
be mandatory.
Yeah,
yes.
Automatically registered.
Yep.
Next thing you know, you getting something in the mail saying you going off the wall. Report to your station. Yeah. And what you gonna do? Because they got their military police force already in place here called ICE. And they send them boys after you. What you gonna do when they come for you?
Bad boys, bad boys.
Mm-hmm.
Pastor Dixon, I always love our conversations. Everybody, Pastor Dixon, the Charleston County Democratic Party, the state party, all the different chapters from all the different counties. How many counties do we have here? We have how many counties?
46.
46. Yeah, I was almost close. I was going to say 40.
Mm-hmm.
First, 40. 48 popped in my head, so I was close. I knew it was
real close.
Yep,
real close.
I knew it was right around there. So let everybody know where they can go. Volunteers. It takes money to get this vote out, to mobilize and organize. Once again, early voting. Voting starts. See, words are powerful. And, look, I talk and tell jokes for a living, so I know how important words are. So I'm going to start with myself. Voting starts. I'm not even going to the early voting. No, voting starts May 26th because legally, voting does start. Now, people want to call it early, whatever, because election day is late to me. That's late voting. That's too damn late voting. You wait till the last minute. You know what? That last minute, when your parents say, don't wait till the last minute, because like Pastor Dixon said, it could be raining and hurt. Oh, there's a power outage. Oh, the polls and there's not enough voting machines in black neighborhoods. Oh, something happened. The polling place, the people they didn't pay the rent, and the landlord padlocked. All kind of. Oh, it's a bomb threat. All kinds of. Come on, you all. So let everybody know how they can, as a volunteer, or if they want to donate, support the organization with their time, their volunteering, their money, whatever it is. Let everybody know how they can go and support you guys.
Yeah, the first thing I would say is for anybody in Charleston County to plug in with the party. You can plug in with our clubs, okay? We have a club in North Charleston. We have the North Charleston Democrats. We have the Charleston Peninsula Democrats. We have the East Cooper Democrats, the West Ashley Democrats, James Island Folly Beach Democrats, Sea Island Democrats, and the St. Paul's District Democrats. That's spanning all the way from Edisto all the way back to Upper North Charleston, up to Alwyndaw and all of West Ashley. So if you live in any one of them areas now, you can actually Google us on Facebook. You can Google the Charleston County Democrats on Facebook, and all of our contact information is there. You can hit me up, Pastor Dixon. Holler at your boy, 843-437-1949. Holler at your boy. And I don't care whether the haters on here or not. Y'all can holler at me too. Ain't scared of you.
Right. As a matter of fact, he's gonna make sure he got something for y'all. Give him that number again. Slow it down so they can. For the ones that can't write that fast. You said it too fast, Pastor. Can you give me that number again? I can't write that fast.
Spit that tobacco out. It's 843-437-1949. That's my cell number. Okay. Hit me up. We've got all kinds of things coming up real soon. Our website is Charleston Democrats, not Charleston County, but charlestondemocrats.com. You can go there. You can see all of our calendar events, what we're doing. There's a donate button right there. Listen, it's not an inexpensive thing for us to operate. We actually have an office that we operate where the lights got to stay on. And our office is at 1379 Ashley River Road. And we meet there. Our monthly meeting is on the third Thursday of every month, 6:30 p.m. Come on out. Sit with us. It's one of the things, and I'm just going to say it, and I say it around my fellow Democrats and everything. It's depressing when all I ever see, and the majority, is white faces. And I know darn well that it's some black folks out here that think like I do. And it don't hurt nothing to at least come to the meetings and listen and find out what's going on. We have candidates around. We got some events coming up. We're gonna be doing an event this summer at the Starlight. Well, you don't know. We're gonna be popping them fans that can on.
So you just gave me an idea. You just gave me an idea in real time. So this is my challenge to you, because I know how busy you are, but you got a team. I know you got a team. You got a great team around you. So what I want you to do, my challenge to you, my call to action is for you to go ahead and start lining up people that's part of your team. So all the burden is not on one person. So for every day, how many times a month? Once a month or twice a month?
For the county meeting?
Yeah.
Once a month.
So that's easy. Just one person a month. That's easy. I want you to designate one person, like days before at least days. I would say the week before. I'd probably say a couple days before the meeting. They need to be on this show to remind people and to continue to express the sense of urgency. We shouldn't have to do it, but you have to listen. There's a reason. Just look at all your ad agencies, and just look at marketing. That's the whole idea of marketing is repetitive. You get a message. The message don't have to be great. Look at Orange Hit. A lie. You can. If my grandmother said, you're gonna stick to the lie. If you stick to the lie long enough, and if you
Gotta ride it out.
and if you look convincing, sticking to the lie, people will believe a lie before they will believe the truth. So you got to
Yeah,
just
yeah, I
be
can't. Yeah,
repetitive with it.
I can't put them flyers out like the car clubs and the club put out. With them gals on there coming. I can't. I, but they put them flyers out and they get 1,000 people out.
So,
I
but that's
can't
our.
do it.
We got different platforms. We can create our own digital flyer, right here when we have
Hmm.
platforms like this. So we're gonna make sure that,
Excellent.
and he knows that I'll be calling, bug him. But every month, somebody from the Charleston County branch, and all the other branches. This is a challenge to you, Burke. All the other counties, you all need to do the same to remind
Wow.
people. You got to stay in people's face, and you know that, Pastor Dixon. I'm not talking to you, but I'm speaking in general. You got to be a pest to where people be like, all right, shit, all right, I'm gonna show up because I'm tired of your ass. Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
coming. That's what
So
you have to do.
our clubs actually meet once a month also. So all of those clubs I named,
Okay,
each
great.
one of them meets individually in their area. So it's all compartmentalized. Wherever you live, you can plug in.
And you all, I'm inviting you all, you individual clubs, to reach out to me also. And
Hmm.
if in closing, this is a challenge to all the sororities and fraternities, all the and private citizens and organizations. We're talking about mobilization and organization. Folks got all kind of party buses and all these church with these fancy ass buses. If can
Yes.
people coordinate with you all? Because my thing is, we gotta. Here's the bottom line, and this is the fear. We have the numbers. It's not a
Hmm.
red state. It's just a state that hasn't shown up for itself in terms of black people and Hispanic and others and white people who are not buying into the bullshit, to the
Hmm.
bigotry and the hatred. You have to show up. So we have to overwhelm the system. So for those who may want to, can they coordinate with you all in terms of, hey, we got to, our church got this bus, or, so and so, my company, we got a party bus. All right. So yeah, instead of, you can, hey, look, it's your bus. They grown folks. If you want to turn it into a party, have a DJ play music, they can drink
Go for it.
mimosas, turn it into like an
I ain't got
event.
I ain't got nothing to do with that.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
But,
Just
but
get them to the polls and
right.
vote.
But you see what I'm saying? I mean, there's so many
Hmm.
creative ways to where
Absolutely.
we can show up. Because if we can do it to go to entertainment, to your point, to go
Hmm.
to Super Bowl parties and the NBA All-Star game parties, and shout out to Chris Brown and Usher and Cardi B and Beyonce, I ain't mad. But if we
I
can
ain't it.
show up in those numbers, we definitely we can show up in those numbers for ourselves, and that's my call. That's my
If
challenge and my call to action. So
if we
can
don't,
they coordinate if there's some organizations or some individuals that would like to say that's a good idea? Should they coordinate with the parties, with the committees, or would you direct them somewhere else to where that would be most effective?
843-437-1949. And it's not like I don't have enough to do already.
Right, that's
But
true.
this is important. And so if there's anybody out there that wants to get involved and needs to be directed in the right way, hit me up. 843-437-1949. We need all of the help we can. Talk to your pastors. We need to be doing souls to the polls. Your pastors got buses been sitting there. They ain't just for road trips. They for trips to the poll. That's all. Get your folks on there. Put some Shirley Caesar on there or something while y'all running. But they ain't gonna tell you who to vote for, but go vote.
That's right.
Go go vote.
I
I'm not
love it.
gonna use that old phrase about people died for it and everything. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. If we don't go vote now, we gonna die.
That part. That part. There you go. Pastor Thomas Dixon, brother, we love you, man. Thank you for your time. This is an important conversation, so I wanted to make sure that you took as much time as you wanted and needed, and we took as much
Appreciate
time.
it.
We'll be back, and you'll be delegating some of your team members to make sure they come back on. So we want to make sure every month, and these local clubs too. You need to reach out to me, just Geno Jones Show at Gmail, or call Pastor Dixon. He's got my cell, so he knows how to get to me directly. So he'll call me, or if he thinks it's okay, he'll give you my number and he'll have you call me. So shout out to, looking forward to having all the candidates for not just governor. I want to definitely reach out and have the candidates that's running against these 8 individuals. I'm being kind here, who drafted this letter to the fund South Carolina State University. Oh yeah, yes. Look, you ain't got to paraphrase Morris Day. You all don't have to go home, but y'all gonna have to get the hell up out of that state capitol, and we're gonna have to make that happen. We're gonna have to show up to make that happen if they're gonna do that. Pastor Dixon, we appreciate you, man. Love to your queen. Mother's Day to you. Tell her happy Mother's Day. And we appreciate you. Now, we'll see you soon. Thank you for your time.
Likewise. Same to you and your family, and especially on that new coming arrival, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited.
Let them know.
Lil Hendrix. Oh, yeah. And train him up. So don't worry. Once he gets the age, I got to wait till my daughter about a year. I'm going to have him right out there with me, right down there with us.
I know that's right.
Lil Hendrix Blue.
Little sign.
Yes, yeah.
All right, my brother.
Appreciate
Take
you.
care.
Man. Love you, man. Thank you.
Love
All
you
right.
too.
That's Pastor
All right,
Thomas
bye.
Dixon, y'all. Just a good dude. Great conversation. I appreciate the time he took. All right, listen. Thank you, everybody, for watching. God bless each and every one of you, and especially you, God. Thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show. All right, no live show. Hockey season. So the good news is our hockey team, they've moved on to the next round. So no live show this Friday. A Mother's Day weekend kicks off, so happy Mother's Day. Big shout out to my mother. I know she's still watching. Mother, I love you more than life itself. I just thank God for you. I do. And you are so much of my purpose, why I do all the stuff that I still do all these years later, along with the girls and Damaris. And so saying I love you doesn't do it justice. It doesn't, because that word is not even big enough for the appreciation and the gratitude, the affection and appreciation and the gratitude, and just feel overwhelming feeling of being blessed to have you as a mother. So thank you. And don't reach out to your moms, for those moms and grandmas that are living, and for those who are ancestors. We honor them, we celebrate them, we love you. We thank you for giving us life and for everything that you've done to pour into us. So we honor all the moms. Ancestors are here in the flesh. We honor you all. Happy Mother's Day. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend. Please leave your comments in the comment section below. Shout out to Allie Jones. She's the official wardrobe consultant and stylist for the show. You can reach her, check her out on Instagram, lx.ncl_. lx.ncl_. Shout out to Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show on Instagram. Kel B Cutting Up, KELBECUTTINUP. Please, I'd love to have you as a sponsor of the show. You can advertise, reach out to me. That's how you spell my name, Geno Jones Show. All one word, Geno Jones Show at Gmail. If you want to support my media company or the show financially, that would be a blessing. It is so important that we support Black-owned media, especially now, to tell the truth and shame the devil and speak truth to power. You can support my media company and the show and my channel financially. You can use Zelle or Cash App. Now, you can Zelle your financial support using my email address once again, Geno Jones Show. That's how you spell it right there. Geno Jones Show, all one word, at gmail.com. You can Cash App $Dad G Jones, $, capital D, lowercase AD, capital GJ, lowercase ONES. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. I love you. Have a great weekend. We'll see you live next Monday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 Central Time, 4:30 p.m. on the West Coast.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of The Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.